Hey everyone, Margarita here. So today is Friday, February 28th, and I want to film this video today because I had already done a couple previous videos recently where I noticed that Ford Motor Company, where my house sits here in Flat Rock, Michigan, had done another gas spill, a liquid gasoline spill from their storage tanks that are underground at their Ford plant right here around the block from my house. And due to my numerous brain injuries and the carbon monoxide poisoning and the amount of brain tissue that's still open, those particles flow right through my open brain tissue and they load up in my brain, and it causes my brain to bleed and my inner ears to itch extremely bad. And the itching, what that is my brain, the blood coming from my brain very slowly dripping out. And I've learned this along the way. This is my third spill. I figured this out on the first one. I'm not exactly sure how much spilled. They did not go public with this one, as they did not go public with the last one either, almost 6 months ago. I know due to my condition, and I've mostly been at home for the past week or so and have not left because traveling out and about during it causes extreme symptoms. And right now I'm without treatment. I'm without my home backup oxygen chamber, and I'm without treatment at the center. So traveling from one place to another can become life or death fairly quickly. Now I have other things I can do to help remove these particles, which I have been doing. So I'm working on doing that. I just want to film this video while I feel the way I feel because it's really bad. It's been really bad since I got back home a couple hours ago. I went to downtown Detroit and I came back. And now I do know when this stuff does flush away, it goes through the sewer systems, it goes into the nearby rivers and lakes. And sometimes they send crews to clean it up, and sometimes they just flush it and don't. Or sometimes they don't even flush it, they just use natural precipitation. So I'm not sure exactly how this one is being cleaned up, or if it is at all, or if it's just the large amount of snow that was here recently, and that's what's been melting, and the amount of rain that came shortly after. I'm not sure if that's the only way it's being flushed or not. This one, and during this spill, I have not been traveling out and about at all to catch what is going on out there. During the first one, I was able to catch everything with my own two eyes, with the trucks flushing and where they were flushing to, and what exactly was going on, because I was traveling about an hour north, an hour south, an hour west at one point, and I ran into different crews in different areas, along with the fact that I was still working, and I was working in Toledo around that time, which was also not far from Lake Erie, and that is about 5 minutes from my house up here in Michigan as well. That is where they flushed that first spill into and then sent crews to clean it up. So I'm not sure exactly how this one's being cared for, or if it is at all. I just know that I did have to put plastic over the majority of my windows on the main floor. It seems to block out the particles flowing through the windows, because they do flow through my windows. My bedroom is upstairs. All of the bedrooms are upstairs. I do have one spare room downstairs. However, there's nothing in it because my house is still under construction from the over $100,000 in damage that the people who stayed in it after the first gas spill had happened and I was forced away from my home for a long period of time. They did all that damage. So my house is still under construction. So that one downstairs room has nothing in it. I've just been sleeping on the couch in this one room. After I put the plastic on the windows, it did seem to make a difference. And on the floor in the other room, where I did put plastic on the windows as well, that was the room we slept on the floor in during the first gas leak until I got us moved out of here, which was for several months. We basically lived on the floor in that room with our brains bleeding. The level was so high, even after they had called it all clear per the EPA. And it was not all clear. It's below the EPA's allowable amount. But for us, it has to be 0, and it was nowhere near 0. So I couldn't even travel to and from work. It was killing me. Basically, I was spending $600 a week to keep us alive during that, and I was suffering extravagantly trying to get to and from work. And there was quite a bit of in and out of consciousness, and I was falling out of consciousness when I would get to work. And then when I'd get home or if I'd travel anywhere, that was the case. So I don't exactly know what's going on. I don't feel good. My brain is bleeding quite a bit. My ears are itching extremely bad. I do use several methods. I will do a video on the different methods I use to try to remove some of these exposures. But due to the fact that I've mostly been sheltering in place recently since this most recent spill, I haven't been able to assess where anything is going or what's actually going on out there until today. So I went all the way to downtown Detroit to film one of my videos, and I did go to one of the grocery stores down there. I used to go there frequently when I visited the area more frequently. So I'm going to pretty much just go outside and do some ear candles right now. These are a necessity to remove the brain bleeding, the blood that's dripping from my brain as this is going on, as I'm breathing in the particles. And that's due to my blood-brain barrier being open and the particles going through it. So the result is brain bleeding and inner ear itching. And it's very uncomfortable. There's not medications for it because that's not the problem. The problem is that particles are leaking through the injured open tissue of my brain, and they're getting in there. They have to be removed. That's the problem. Now, some people do them for fun or just, do them once in a while because they have earwax buildup, but this is excessive what I have to deal with this. So at this point, I've done over 1,000 ear candles since the beginning of my injury. And I'm just going to go do some more, but it's intolerable to have sound. I can't stand up. I become dizzy, unconscious. There's all types of problems. This was my first trip out in a while, and I really don't feel good. So I just want to catch it while I don't feel good, because most of the time when people see me, I don't look or feel the way that I feel, or even when they do, they don't even think that there's anything wrong because I'm not at a hospital. And that's just not how this injury has gone for me. I've never been in the hospital at all during any of the injury, even the most extreme parts, due to my mother's ongoing crimes. It's not even possible to get treatment at a hospital, which is why I've had to spend everything I've ever worked for out of pocket to keep us alive. And I'm just trying to basically get these videos filmed while all this is going on, and I'm pretty much stuck homebound for a while. And I'm hoping to be able to crank out as many as I can, and maybe just if I'm doing some on-site at the locations involved in my situation. Basically, these are all large companies and agencies who have harmed me or wronged me in some way in a very extreme manner, and that's where I'm filming at. So when I get to those points in this story, and if I'm still homebound, I will probably take a trip, one trip out and go to that place and assess the air and, what happens to me during that trip and the effects when I get back. And that's how I'm able to tell when the air is finally cleared. It doesn't take anything but a couple breaths for me to be outside because of how injured I am. Now, Ford did manage to cover this spill up as well. I don't know if the city is aware. Last time the city seemed to not be aware, but who knows? I mean, they could just pay them. I'm not really sure. I do know the city is very corrupt, the city of Flat Rock, Michigan. And I know that from the very first spill as well. So I will do a video on that because I've actually caught the mayor lying on the news, and I'm the only person who would ever even be able to catch what he said is a lie due to the extreme nature of my condition. No one else would ever even be able to know that that's a lie. And it was from 2022. So I will show that in one of my videos, the aired news clip. So I just want to catch this on film because I really don't feel good. I was trying to get some of these videos filmed, and I was about to come home and finish, part 2 of what I had done earlier when I was out downtown in Detroit, and I was going to finish there's probably about 4 or 5 other videos I was going to finish from my last batch. And I'm working on cranking them all out in a bulk load because I've not released any in almost a month. So what I'd like to do is just hurry up and get the next whole bulk load out, which is about at least 15 videos, maybe 20. So if I could do that, to keep people interested, because sometimes I have a lot of chaos and disruptions, and I do live chronically sick and permanently injured. So I have to deal with those symptoms from that injury and how I'm forced to live before I'm able to do anything else within a day. And sometimes I don't even get to do anything else but lay here. So I know other people don't understand that. Even the people around me still just can't comprehend that shit. It's really irritating. I really don't have any true friends, I guess you could say at this point. I guess you could say maybe I do have a couple, long-term ones, but beyond that, and they're not here regularly either. So, it's really hard to explain to somebody the current state of my condition, especially if they did not understand what happened initially, which nobody did because nobody was here and not one person helped me. So, I just want to catch this on film while I really just don't feel good. Because I had plans to come home and finish filming, and I got back after the trip out, and I guess the spill was a little more prevalent than I thought, and it may have traveled a little further than I initially thought, because how I feel now is pretty bad. So I'll show some of the other methods and the other things that I use to help get some of the stuff out of my system and removed from my brain. There's many different things that I do. And depending on where my finances are in the moment, while I'm trying to do some of that stuff. So that plays a role. But I do need to go do some of these ear candles. I have to go in my garage to do them because I can't burn stuff inside my house because that's carbon monoxide and air particles. So I do have to go into the garage to do that. I am going to get up and go do that, and hopefully I have more relief. However, the result of that, once it gets knocked loose and it starts coming out, most likely I'll probably get really tired and become unconscious and or fall asleep for the rest of the night. So I probably won't finish the work that I was trying to get to. And I'm really to the point now that I need to apply for Social Security disability, because it's the amount of what I'm dealing with and how many severe symptoms and how long this has been going on with no help and no compensation. It's causing a really big problem, and there needs to be some type of form of payment from some direction or another. And I thought maybe these videos would provide that, but the problem is I'm so injured still, and I live in so much chaos with my mother's crimes running in the background as well. It's really just not possible for me to crank them out in the manner in which I thought I could. So, yeah, that's going to have to happen here very soon. So I'll be back with another one. Thanks. Bye.